any data with an alt tab, but I don't think I will.
Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the 38th day of the legislature. We are in week 6. I am Nakia Hunter, impacted family member with the Washington Coalition for Police Accountability. And today we have a guest.
Hi, I'm Martina Morris. I am also with the Washington Coalition for Police Accountability and Next Steps Washington.
Tomorrow at 8 a.m., the House Committee on Community Safety, Justice, and Reentry will go into executive session to consider 2 bills on vehicular pursuit. Martina, can you tell us briefly about the 2 bills, the numbers, and what they do?
Sure, Nakia. So one of these bills we like and the other we strongly oppose. HB 1363 is the bill that we strongly oppose. It would change current law and it would gut the public safety protections that we established in 2021 by the statewide police pursuit policy. We need everyone to write the members of the House Community Safety Committee and urge them to just let this bill die. HB 1586, on the other hand, is the bill we support. It would establish a collaborative work group to evaluate the current law. We don't think the law needs to be changed, but we'd be happy to come to the table to discuss current best practices in pursuit policies across the country and the kind of data that we would need to justify changing our current law.
These are very different approaches. The Washington Coalition for Police Accountability opposes House Bill 1363. Martina, tell me what we know about how concurrent law is working.
So the purpose of the current law was to establish a better balance between the risks and the benefits of pursuits. The current law allows pursuits for violent crimes, sex crimes, and DUIs, the kinds of crimes that actually pose a high risk to public safety. What the law restricts is pursuits for suspected low-level crimes and misdemeanors, where the risk of the pursuit is actually greater than the risk posed by the subject. So the goal of this law, the current law, was to reduce the number of people killed during police pursuits. They are quite dangerous. And from the data we have, the law actually appears to be working. The number of deaths from police pursuits has dropped since the policy was adopted by nearly 70%. It's only been 18 months, and we obviously need to keep monitoring the data. But for now, it looks like the law is doing exactly what it was supposed to do.
What do you think would be the impact of rolling back the current laws?
Well, I think what we get is more pursuits for all sorts of low-level crimes. And more pursuits will mean more accidents, more injuries, more fatalities, more damage. That's a lot of public safety risk. Right now, what we know, and we only have a little bit of data to suggest what's going on here in Washington, we can talk about that in a minute, but it looks like about 30 to 40% of pursuits end in an accident. And these accidents often involve bystanders and pedestrians. These are just people like you and me who are in the wrong place at the wrong time. So if we get more pursuits, we are going to be putting more people at risk.
Gosh, doesn't sound like what we should be doing. From what we know about the data, do you think the legislature has enough information to make an informed decision?
Actually, I don't think they have the data that they need right now. But the interesting thing is that those data do exist. They're already being collected by law enforcement agencies across Washington state, and they have been for many years. The problem is that the data are siloed in each little agency and they're not shared, not with the public, not with the legislature. So we really need to set up a pursuit data collection program so that we can make use of the resources that are already in place and provide some assistance to law enforcement agencies that may not be collecting these data now so that they will also be able to do this. What we have right now, I mean, it's very interesting. We have a lot of data, but it's not available to us to help make the kind of decision that the legislature is being asked to make. Very inefficient use of public resources.
Yes, downright shame. Then it sounds like House Bill 1586, which establishes a working group, is the best approach here. You are a researcher. What do you think needs to be looked at?
Thanks for that question. So I think the kinds of things that the work group should look at can be broken into three broad classes. The first is we need to do a kind of full review of the statewide pursuit policies around the country. What are other states doing? Not necessarily because we want to do exactly what another state is doing, but just to see what other states are doing at this time. And we also want to look at what people are calling model policies. Those are typically policies that are proposed by some of the leading institutions in police accountability and police work. So one of those institutions, for example, is the police, it's called PERF, which is the Police Executive Research Forum. And I have it on good authority that they're about to release a report that actually focuses on model policy for police pursuits. So that's the first thing we need to look at is what would a model policy potentially look like? What are other places doing right now? I think the second thing we need to do is take a look at pursuit data collection programs around the country. There are a number of states that already have these in place. And the states have very, very interesting approaches to sharing these data with the public. I would encourage people to take a look, for example, at Pennsylvania. They have a really nice dashboard where the public can go in and take a look at all of the outcomes that are associated with pursuits and the trends over time. So I think we want to do a review of what's out there in terms of police pursuit data collection programs at the state level. And then finally, the third thing is I think we need a complete survey of all the law enforcement agencies here in Washington state and ask them, what are they currently collecting in terms of pursuit data and outcomes? We know that many of these agencies already collect these data. So we just need to know who does and for how long they've been collecting it. And that can help us then design a program where we could have a very quick startup here if these data would be shared. We can start with agencies that are already collecting these data and then build in some staging over time for agencies that are not collecting the data to begin to do so now.
Yes, very important to collect that data and share the results. Okay, everyone, stay tuned for an update after tomorrow's 8 a.m. meeting of the House Committee on Community Safety, Justice and Reentry. We all have the same goal, keeping people safe and saving lives. Let's keep in mind, it only takes you and me. Please remind all of your allies, friends, and family to go to our website, check on calls to action and directions for writing the members of your committee. We need you all to make our voices heard. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Nikia.